Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Hearts of Iron 4 Formable Nation. Today I wanted to take part in a two-part challenge. The first is we are going to endeavour to form Andalus, a traditional formable nation that I never got around to because it became quite a bit easier to do it in more recent patches. And then after unification, I endeavour to head north to get revenge for the Battle of Tours, where the Umayyad Caliphate was defeated by the French, and hopefully Al-Andalus can reclaim some of their lost legacy. So, shall we begin? The countries that are eligible for forming Al-Andalus are really on the North African coast. They're going to be Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, owned by France, Libya, owned by Italy, and I believe the Rif, owned by Spain. But France is easily going to be the best option. Starting as France, to become not France, to take down France. Goodbye Tunisia, say goodbye to Morocco, and goodbye to Algeria, which is the country I intend for us to play as today. If we look in the resource tab, we can actually see that Algeria and Tunisia have got 91 steel and 43 respectively. This was after an update to shift a lot of the resources away from continental Europe. I'm pretty sure it came with arms against tyranny, so that Sweden, for example, could become a stronger steel exporter throughout Europe. What Europe loses, Algeria has gained though, because with this we can become far stronger than we used to be able to. And can someone explain why my non-aligned leader has a communist pin on him? That's pretty sus. I wonder what his plans are going to be. And so with everything set up, let's take a look at the formable nation in question, the Moorish Restoration. Simply put, we have to restore the Caliphate of Cordoba, and to do so we're going to need southern Spain and southern Portugal. Upon doing it though, we get calls on everything in Portugal and Spain, so that's pretty good. With political effort done, let's see if we can get ourselves a nice communist advisor. I wouldn't want to betray what Ahmed's got going on with his nice little trendy pin. In order for us to get from North Africa to Iberia, we are probably going to have to build a navy. So right at the start of the game, we're going to get some early subs. I just found out Algeria doesn't have a single mill, so in the meantime I'm going to quickly see if I can buy some guns on the international market, just before we can get a mill. It seems like we have gotten unlucky and nobody is selling anything. Most unfortunate. And there goes the Spanish Civil War. Our country literally doesn't even have any civs. The production that we're getting is exclusively from people buying our steel. So it really goes to show you just how much of a buff Algeria and Tunisia have had after the renewed steel in North Africa. Finally. One gun. So for the next trick, you may have noticed that we're trying to go for communism, and that's because we're about to do a communist civil war. So a little exploit you can take advantage of is waiting until, for example, the naval effort focus is just about to be done, 69 out of 70, you can declare the civil war, and then as the focus ticks over to the next day, both you and the civil war version of you will have both completed the focus. So instead of getting 3 dockyards, we're going to have 6. That's really going to speed up our naval arms race against Portugal to eventually cross over towards them. Which also helps because my entire research queue is just building ship stuff. So yeah, we really need to cross that sea. And of course with a freshly deployed horse, we can just walk into their 2 victory points, and that should be victory. Easy peasy. Now that we're a communist regime, the next thing you want to take advantage of is finding a picture of Karl Marx so you can stroke it every week and get 500 manpower, or 2,000 a month. Oh, and for anybody who was wondering, you do indeed get the 6 dockyards. There they all are on convoys. So it may seem dramatic considering we've only just turned into the commune of Algeria, but I really think we have to take down a kingdom. A massive army of brigades of colonials is being built, and hopefully that should be enough to push all the way through. Moving on up to war economy. Ooh, they've got 2 units now, and my units have nothing. But don't worry, I think it's going to work out. Well, goodness me, there goes the justification. How confident are we feeling? Our general seems to be very confident, so I guess we see how well he goes. All in all, it seems to be a mixed bag, but having no supply on this tile is very painful. Infantry expert, definitely useful, and army regrouping while we're here. I think we are on our route to an encirclement. We just need to alleviate some pressure. Ah yes, a good old-fashioned encirclement. I'm very worried about overexpanding in the north, but hopefully they won't actually be able to react in time to what I'm doing. Oh my goodness, we took Casablanca. Okay. Let's maybe keep pushing. On to Marrakesh. Yeah, 10 units versus their 5. They were really struggling. Easy peasy. So with Morocco taken down, we now have Casablanca as a staging port to go after Portugal. Unfortunately, Spain has finished its civil war a little too early for my likings, so they might get a little bit too strong, but let's not worry about something that hasn't happened yet. In total, Portugal is sitting at around 22 ships, and we are at 5. So there is going to be a little bit of waiting time before we can take down Portugal. Probably going to need naval invasion tech with transport ships to even get to Portugal. What are we thinking? Superior firepower or grand battle plan? I think I'm going to keep it simple and go superior firepower. Wow, a 3rd research slot. This must be some South American gaming. After picking up militarism, I've just noticed my manpower is now surging into the thousands. We can really start building a proper army now. Also getting a nice spy agency up and running. Very useful if you're trying to do some naval landings, but you're not too sure about their navy. So we're now in early 1939, and my thoughts are, it could be worth getting started on the justification against Portugal. It's going to take 215 days, and only generate 8% threat, so I think we're going to be fine. The only key question is, do we have enough strength to take down their army and their navy? Oh, there goes World War II. And there is a complete justification. Well, they say there's no time like the present, so I guess we head in. It seems that we have green, and it has stayed green. Okay, we have naval supremacy. They must have forgotten to send their ships out. This can sometimes happen when 21 submarines are on the prowl. Now that is a lot of red. Okay, we have a landing, a very important landing, because if we can get Portimao, then from here we can hopefully win. And that is a port secured. So even though these naval invasions appear red, as soon as they get some help from something on land, they can quickly turn to green. Okay, we have encircled the capital of Lisbon. We just send the rest of the units north to take up the cities before we can take the capital. Not to mention the absolute horde of Algerians coming in. The capital is being taken down. Ooh, France fell first. They beat me to it. I think if we take Porto, that should be the end of the war. GG. Now that I've secured Portugal, I've generated 6% threat, but I don't really see much of a need to hold these territories in Africa, so I think I'm literally just going to liberate them. And then of course take the Portuguese navy, because I want the navy. Good, good, good. And with that done, we have 2 of the necessary states required to form Al-Andalus. Now we just need southern Spain. So truth be told, we could actually attack Spain right now. They're already fash, and they have the spirit recovering from the civil war, meaning the allies are very unlikely to guarantee them because of their ideology, and the national spirit prevents them from wanting to join the Axis, so they're kind of free real estate. The only issue I have is I have 20k debt in guns, and 0 manpower available, so I'm not really too ready, so I may have to give it half a year just to prepare myself. Oh, thank goodness we're finally out of the negative manpower pool. Things are heading up. Okay, maybe I'm naive, but I think I'm ready to start the justification. Let's hope this all works out. Sweet lord, what is that Hungary? Do I even want to ask? And so here we are. My goodness. How is the gun deficit looking these days? Okay, down to 7k at 100 a day. This will be cleared up in a nice 70 days. Surely it won't keep falling. We've got some naval invasions lined up. We've got some troops to try and hold back them taking us down in Morocco. No guarantee means it's time to go. Okay, so they had some naval supremacy in this sea, but the core of our invasions seem to have gotten across. And we have landed. Let's bring it all the way down to free speed, and let's start microing these invasions. Okay, I think we have an encirclement back in the homeland. This is important because I need these units in the chaos that is currently the middle of Spain. It seems we have an encirclement around Sevilla. I'm not sure how useful it's going to be, but we're working on it. Oh, and we've taken the north. I'm just going to completely ignore the south, don't worry about that. I do not believe it. I think in this absolute chaos of zero supply, why is there no supply hubs around here? We can restore Andalus. Oh goodness, they're coming in from the south. Andalusia restored. Centuries ago the Moors were driven out of Iberia, but we have returned. A glorious day. With that, we're now actually fighting on core territory, which kind of changes the conflict a lot more in our favour. Now I think I can play a much slower game, because I'm not as worried about capitulating in North Africa, now that I technically have my core territory in Cordoba in Spain. Speaking of which, probably shouldn't lose it. You can't keep me out of Madrid forever. I refuse. You will let me enter that city. Okay, Madrid has fallen. Now we just need to not lose it. Ooh, it's not looking too good now, Spain. Really getting pushed back. This is the importance of cores really working here. Fighting on your own core territory versus their core territory changes this conflict to be very much so easier. I think the war is coming to an end. It's been a slow grind, a slow push, but I can smell victory near. And that is all she wrote. So I think we're going to just keep this pretty straightforward. Take all states, take the navy, and only 2 threat generated because, well, it's my core territory. Now that looks like victory. Although, to be fair, I'm not sure if I'm all for this whole communism thing. I feel like we want to be a caliphate, which is why, as this was going on, I had prepared us to become a caliphate. A nice referendum. Ah, much better. And so, with the Caliphate of Cordoba united, and the capital not being in Cordoba, we're in Algiers now, that's fine. We can be proud Algerians, but also Cordoba. We can now engage on getting some revenge for the Battle of Tours. So interestingly, it isn't actually in this city, it was in Poitiers, or close to Poitiers, but that doesn't have a victory point. So if I was to kind of guesstimate, it's somewhere between the triangulation of these points. So probably like here somewhere is Poitiers, and that tile is what I'll be aiming for victory. But let's just take down all of Vichy France. So, without further ado, let's get justifying. Honestly, this has remained a mostly historical game, other than one minor deviation, and that is whatever is happening in Hungary. Romania has been collapsed and Hungary has made this disgusting shape. I'm just looking at the ship counts of the world. I'm currently at 132 after inheritance. Italy is on basically nothing. They must have been bombed into non-existence, which, yeah, they are definitely going to get naval invaded. Ooh, it seems Italy really is collapsing. That is quite terrible for them. That won't stop us though, because the justification is complete. So, Vichy France, of course, guaranteed by Germany. So, the way to get around that is just quickly joining the Axis, and then we should be good to go. Making sure to not call Germany in, of course. And that is a plethora of green. Taking down Corsica with a naval invasion. Yeah, they really cannot handle the strength of Al-Andalus. Since we're in a war, we should make sure to get technology sharing for the free research slot and complete it before the war is done. Encirclement into encirclement into encirclement. And I do think we should get a little bit of revenge for a certain battle. All the lines collapsing in. You love to see it. And that is that. I'm not really sure how I want to go about this peace conference. Let me see if I can cook up something really disastrous. And so, maybe a unique looking world, but I can walk you through it. So I'm happy to say that we have got our revenge and have claimed the territory where we had once lost so terribly many years ago. One of our enemies in that conflict was actually the Kingdom of Aquitaine, and so Occitania has become our puppet as kind of a small revenge. I decided to release some African nations so they can have an early head start in a post-colonial world. And I also took Syria and Lebanon, because, that's a good start into heading into a true caliphate, right? And with that, I feel all my goals are complete. I have no future wars I need to do, and Al-Andalus is completed in a pretty straightforward way. I hope I demonstrated that it isn't really too difficult for anybody to form Al-Andalus now, and I feel like the steel of Algeria really can help in your boost in the start. With that being said, I'll say I hope you enjoyed. If you liked, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. No, but seriously, what is happening over here? This is like nightmare fuel. This long Italy. Bye.